Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Max. I'm the fast talking flipper. That's Angie. She does exist. See, she's right there. She does exist. For whoever commented that, I can't remember what your name was, but somebody was like, why do you introduce Angie and then she's never in the videos? Well, it's just to show that two people can do these things and you can have two completely different schedules and still get things done, because I think we do pretty darn well for as much time as we put into this. We are resellers. We buy locally at yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores. We do it part-time, and then we sell it online for much, much more, usually on eBay, but we do some other platforms as well. This is just going to be a short video because I wanted to tackle a couple of topics. I don't have anything to pull. I do have something to pull, but I'm going to make a different video about that. But I wanted to tackle a couple of topics because there was a recent conversation that we had in the comments and on one of the Facebook groups and so on and so forth. And I've been talking to other resellers about it. So I wanted to just kind of have a more in-depth dialogue about the whole situation. Well, not the situation, but some of the things that can happen with eBay, because I've experienced some wild stuff in my years on eBay and buying and selling. So there's two different things that I wanted to talk about. The first was eBay can ask you for proof of where you bought something. eBay can do that. They have the right to do that, and they can, and they sometimes will. I was given a ban on eBay back somewhere between like 2011, 2014. I don't remember what year it was, but it was like a 3 or 7 day ban. And it was because I had bought a pallet, and this was when pallets were fresh. You know, it wasn't, a lot of people didn't buy pallets back then. I had bought a pallet and it looked to be tools. I went and bought it from a local pallet liquidator. He's still in business. He's still doing great business too. And it looked to be all Walmart tools. It was MVP, it was Schumacher, that kind of stuff. And it was a whole pallet full. It had just come off the truck. He said $500. I said, sold. I'll take it. I broke it down and I put it into my van at the time because I couldn't fit it with a forklift into the van. I got it home and I started liquidating. There was some stuff that was there that was in the box, out of the box, new in the box. It was a very weird pallet because it felt like a lot of it was overstock because it was still new in the box and it wasn't returned. So it was a very odd pallet. I kind of thought maybe a store shut down, and rather than sending this inventory to another store, they just blew it out as overstock and wrote it off, you know, for the insurance. Well, in the middle of that pallet, there was an unmarked box. And within that box, there was a case of Mach 3 razors, Gillette Mach 3 razors. They completely didn't fit in. And I reckon that that probably should have went on a pallet that should have been manifested and should have went to another store, but someone didn't want to do their job. It was the end of the day. I don't know. Some reason they hid it right in the middle of the pallet, and it was a find. It was a heck of a find. They were 8-pack razors, and I looked on eBay, and they were selling for like $19.76 a piece. Shipped. Now, that's not a lot of money, but I had a gross of them. I had an entire case of them. There was 144 on there, and I had that many to sell. Now, I wanted to get them sold. I wanted the money real quick, and I did all the math and everything, and I figured that I was going to make about $6 a piece on each one. And it's an easy listing, easy shipper. All you got to do is print labels, boom, put them on, you're done. So easy. So I went on eBay and I found the lowest priced one and I beat it by a quarter. I want to say it was $19.76, so I beat it by a quarter. I was $19.51. And I put them up and they started selling. And they sold. And they sold. And they sold. And they got to the end where I only had a couple left. And this was over a course of like 3 days. And no one on eBay had sold a single one in the 3 days since I had put them at that price, because everybody was getting them at the bottom dollar. That's when eBay didn't have promoted listings and stuff. eBay reached out to me and they paused my account. They said, you know, where did you get these from? I said, I bought a pallet. You know, you need to show us. They said, you need to show us a receipt that you purchased these legally. I said, okay, well, I don't have a manifested pallet. I bought this pallet and they were on the pallet. And I sent them a receipt from the pallet. They banned me for, I don't remember, I think it was 3, but it might have been a 7-day ban. But they put me on pause for quite a while and said that that isn't sufficient enough of a purchase. So they wanted an itemized inventory, and I said, that's not how it works. So the question was in the comments was that eBay, or the comment was, not the question, but in the comments, eBay can shut you down if you can't provide proof of where you bought things. I don't think they're going to do it for yard sale type items. If they see you trafficking in a whole bunch of the same style of item that's all new in the box, where you probably shouldn't have it unless you have a good, connection, and then you should be having receipts. Like, we do have people around here in Cincinnati that I don't know how they're getting it, but they're getting pallet loads of nothing but Milwaukee tools or DeWalt tools, that kind of thing. And they liquidate it. They either have a store or a booth or something along those lines. They're not making a ton of money. I know they're paying up for the stuff. I know they have to pay up for it. But they're not making a ton of money, but they're liquidating volume. So the particular item in question was this guy here. This is $129 retail. They might sell this out the door for like 80, 90 bucks. And they might pay 60 for it. 80, 90 bucks and paying $60 for it. You're not making a ton of money, but you're going to move a constant flow of those. So that's kind of where I want to warn people about, that you can get into, even when you're buying yard sales. There's no way to really get, you're not going to go to a yard sale and say, I need an itemized receipt for these 17 t-shirts, these 4 pairs of shoes, these 16 video games, and the knickknacks that I bought too. It's not going to happen. You're just not going to get it. And I don't expect you or plan on you saying you're going to get that kind of thing. It's impossible. You just know what you spent at a yard sale. That's the way you tally it up. And you tally those up at the end of the year. So that's the way you do it. But having an individualized inventory receipt for every little piece is darn near impossible. The next comment was that, and I had heard about this years ago and I'd never followed up on it, was that certain stores, such as Home Depot and Lowe's, had implemented a program where when you bought a tool, you had to have it activated. It had to be activated through the store, through a Bluetooth technology or something along those lines, before it would work. And I thought about that. Now, I'm mechanically inclined. I teach automotive, and I am trying to be part of the future when it comes to like how things are going to be implemented with AI and how that can benefit with vehicles and so on and so forth. So I try to think about how that would work. How you would scan this and something inside the tool, not inside the box, because if it's inside the box, we could, just get rid of the box and walk out with the thing. How something inside the tool would keep it from working. Think about when you go to the grocery store and they scan whatever. It's got that little, silver or white tag in it. They scan it, it goes bong on the thing. What's that doing? Okay, well, that's just demagnetizing that or designalizing that and causing it to no longer have a signal. So when you walk out the door, it doesn't set off the alarm. We've got something physically inside this tool that's not allowing the battery to connect with the motor of the tool. There's a logic circuit. That's what they're talking about. And how would you work that logic circuit? You'd have to have some kind of computer technology that's going to unlock that and close a switch. Or, open the switch, however you want to look at it. It's going to, in my mind, it's going to close a switch and allow power to run from the battery to the tool and be able to work, or allow power to be switched on and off. That's going to be expensive. That's going to be real expensive. And not real expensive, but it's going to be more expensive than most companies are going to want to deal with. And in my research, looking it up, I remember hearing about it a while ago with Home Depot, and sure, I did look it up, and I found in August of 2021, that they did talk about rolling out a pilot program where that was going to be true. In January of 2023, Lowe's talked about a similar technology. Home Depot was going to use Bluetooth, Lowe's was going to use blockchain and RFID, and they were going to use a similar technology. Since then, I have found absolutely nothing about either of them doing anything with it. I found an article from Home Depot in December of 2021 talking about it, just very generalized, nothing real concrete and solid, but I haven't seen anything like that. So it is something to think about, that there is technology out there that could make that happen. I don't see anything happening with it right now. Last year, I bought several tools, or within the past couple of years, I have bought several tools that were higher dollar. I wouldn't see it going into fruition on this because this is a lower dollar tool. But there are things at Home Depot, such as like an electric impact. The batteries are like $300, some of the big batteries. I bought an electric chainsaw and it was $350. That kind of stuff that might have the technology in it because it's at a price point that, you know, if it costs $10 extra to do that, they can jack the price up $10 and it really doesn't affect it. 300 to 309, not a big deal. 120, like this guy was, 119, 129, going to 139 or 129, whatever, that's a bigger percentage. It's a bigger jump. So that's going to be harder for them to implement. My thought is they probably decided against it because why protect against this particular brand of tool or, you know, Milwaukee or whatever, because Ryobi probably isn't going to jump on board because it's a cheaper tool. Why protect against just those tools when they could invest that same money into store-wide loss prevention? And then, you know, thinking about that, I was like, well, yeah, they have started to put those cameras and the bells into place and so on and so forth. So that's probably where they headed with it. And obviously they're not going to say, hey, we didn't do this, come in and steal our stuff. So that's something that you're not going to see. But it is something that you might want to think about in the future or look at, because there are places that did roll it out for a bit. So make sure that the tool will actually work. But those are the two topics. Pretty straightforward, you know, just informational, not a lot of eBay related things or reselling things for that matter. But I wanted to jump in and give you those. Remember to comment on it. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share, do all that kind of crazy stuff. And I'll see you on the next one.